all systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Hope you're having a great day. I'm definitely having a great day because there's some early baseball going on to sweat, and I'm with my man Gyiraszin talking about this very interesting, pretty solid 9-game slate on FanDuel and DraftKings. 6:40 Eastern start time on both sites. We'll get into it in a little bit. Definitely very interesting slate with the 4K pitcher, Coors Field on the slate. Gyiraszin, bring you in. What are your thoughts on this slate and how are we doing today?
Man, I'm doing great here in Michigan. It's like the nicest damn day of the year we've had so far, Title. It's like 80-some degrees, sun shining. I mean, it's, when you've been basking in the winter shithole all fucking winter, it was nice to have a sunny day today. But, I mean, yeah, coming off last night, we were smart enough to fade Coors Field. We saw Padres suck balls, and it was like 1-0 game. So, I did. It's always fun to see in the Discord all the screenshots, everybody winning and everybody all excited. So that was really cool to see and wake up to this morning. So congrats to all the winners last night. But hey, best part is we get to start over, win or lose. But yeah, looking at this slate here tonight, it looks pretty easy. We got a 4K dude over here on DK, and then everybody's going to probably play him with Ohtani. I mean, everybody else kind of in the middle for me are a little bit risky. And, Shohei's been pretty good so far this year. He's got a good strikeout matchup here tonight. But, a 4K pitcher title. I mean, dude, there's hitters that cost more than this guy. I mean, if he even rolls this out 15 points, 12 points over there, you should be happy with it. But definitely interesting. But, yeah, we'll have to see how it breaks down.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, let me say hi to some people. Philly Phantom in here had a good night yesterday. Congrats. Sites, Pop Stoner, great to see you. Taco Todd in here. Pop Stoner sweating some eight strikeouts plus. Gyiraszin, yeah, he's got his drink. Probably a Go Lucky or whatever you call them. I'm ready for is that what it is? Go Lucky?
A lucky one.
Lucky one. Yeah, lucky one. All we ask, like button, subscribe button. Does help us out a ton. Not too much time to waste, again, with 9 games on this slate. But, yeah, the overview is Ohtani at 10-1. On Coors Field, actually, let me just go to the Padres first and sort by pricing. They're in Coors Field, so they do have expensive bats. But I would argue their lineup, top to bottom, should be more expensive. If you want the big bats, Tatis, Merrill, Machado, all that, you have to pay some. I still think they're underpriced, and you can still see very high ownership. If you go to team stacks and then sort by projected runs, you see the Padres 1.5 runs higher than the next team, which has the other side of the game in the Rockies, and then a big fall off from there. So people are going to want the Padres, even though they're somewhat expensive. I'd argue definitely not expensive enough, but you can play Shohei Ohtani at 10-1 and the Padres, because when you go to pitcher and go to 4K, this Connor Prelip guy, again, only 4K, 79 pitches projected. Sabersim has him. He's a starting pitcher. He could go 5 innings in this game. It's just a ridiculous price tag when it's all said and done. Ohtani, Prelip, 5 Padres, or a mix of Coors Field. That's going to be the chalk today. So I don't think you should necessarily do that in tournaments. If you do, I would definitely get different in your stack or your secondary stack. But yeah, it's not often you have a stone min pitcher that's actually projected for over 10 DK points. And Ohtani, just sorting by pitching projections right here, him and Max Fried, and I would say us and Sabersim, I'm taking our average right now, are probably higher than the industry, I think. I do not expect Fried to be like 28% and Ohtani 30. I think we see a bigger gap here. So let me just change it real quick. Let's do something like 26, 24. Let's just do something like this. I just want to think, I think this gap will be wider from Ohtani to Fried with only $400 there. So we'll start at pitching. Again, we know where the chalk is. Ohtani, Prelip more than likely. Let's talk. We have a lot of cheap pitchers. So I'm going to include Matthew Boyd 7-7 since he is projected to be the third highest owned pitcher on the slate. So I do want to include him in this bucket. 7-7 Matthew Boyd all the way up to 10-1 Ohtani. How are you breaking down pitching?
Yeah, I mean, you said it at the top with Ohtani and this 4K guy. I mean, it pretty much allows you to play whoever you want as it is. I mean, that is for sure. But I mean, today pitching's pretty simple. I think I'd just rather get different with the bats because I'm not really too much of a fan of the Padres and Rockies here today's price. Everybody else is. I mean, I do think the Padres have a decent matchup that they got over there with some bats, but I mean, they haven't really been all that great to begin with. I think there's some teams that have been hitting a lot better coming out of the gate that I'd rather play than try to get too cute at pitching. But I mean, if you did, I mean, you could look at somebody like Matthew Boyd here at 7,700. I think he's in play. He's always been a ground ball pitcher. He's actually been looking pretty good so far this year with his strikeouts. So just looking here at his last few games, I mean, what did he have here? I think 10-7, so 17 Ks in almost 9 innings. So he's been looking pretty good there. I mean, the wind's been blown out a little bit out there in Wrigley here in the last few days. I mean, it didn't really seem to matter all that much yesterday, and it just seems like that's always overblown to me anyway, either on both sides of it. But either way, I think Boyd is a guy that you could look at today that I like at his price. I think Mize could be interesting too against Milwaukee. Mize has been actually pretty good here coming out the gate. He was a number 1 overall pick. I mean, he's sitting here at a 26.6 here K rate. His ERA is looking good. I mean, he's been almost 30% K rate to lefties. He hasn't been getting barreled up at all. So, I mean, I think he's good for his price. I think he's a pivot off some other guys if you wanted to look there. Suarez has been looking pretty good so far this year. I'm just not really interested in him against the Yankees. I mean, that's tough sailing. I think Ashcraft, I mean, I think I'd leave him in my pool. I'm not really overly excited about it. Erod, no thanks. Leiter, no thanks. Holmes. I mean, Holmes just doesn't strike anybody out. I just don't see any reason to play him especially at the price he's at. And then Max Fried, I mean, Fried is one of them guys that's been really good. I mean, he's had a couple good strikeout games here at the beginning. His matchup with Boston isn't something that I really like, but I think if you wanted to get different and pivot off of Ohtani and go to a Max Fried, I mean, I wouldn't fault you for it just as an ownership kind of decision. But if you're asking me to choose between Ohtani and Max Fried, I mean, that's pretty damn easy, for me. I mean, that's really simple. So I don't know. To me, I just think I'm playing on FanDuel, and this Didier, whatever his damn name is down here, Prelip, basically is 7,300 on FanDuel. So he's not really the cheap guy. The cheap guy in FanDuel is Fuentes, who I do not like at all either. But so for me, I think over on DK, I would just probably play Ohtani and the 4K pitcher and maybe switch up Ohtani with Fried if you wanted to do that. But, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't play the 4K guy with like Mize or Boyd or anybody like that. I don't really like that idea because I think you really need to have a decent game from your SP1 basically to be able to absorb if this 4K guy just blows up and he's just total trash. Because I got a feeling that on DK title, I think he's going to be 40% owned probably in some of the single entry. I'm guessing. I mean, most people are going to try to play him, in my opinion, because I mean, Dodger bats are looking strong, and you got a Coors Field game, so everybody's going to be looking for some salary on their bats, and I can easily see people jamming in that kid.
Yeah, it could. SaberSim right now, the high stakes single entry has him at 20%. Because of how underpriced bats are, I'm not sure he quite gets to the 40% mark. I could be wrong. I have a similar thoughts. I think I'd find playing lineups without Ohtani or this Prelip guy today because, again, I don't think pitching's super strong. Ohtani being the highest at 9.81 fantasy points right now. San Fran only implied for 3.2 runs, but you go to the K props, 6.5 K prop juice on the under. So that's telling me right away, Max Fried, 5.5 juice on the under. So that's showing me that I don't think the upside's too crazy at pitching today. And I do think there's a couple of these guys you talked about. Jack Leiter, you didn't like him as much, but I mean, his pitch counts is good. Threw over 100 last time. Pittsburgh, I'm not too worried about them. He would be in my pool. The two guys I really like, though, Ashcraft and Casey Mize. Ashcraft has had 3 straight good performances, like 19, 24, 27 DK points, something like that. And Casey Mize, he had a good outing last time as well. 4.5 K prop minus 159 on the over for Mize. And then Ashcraft and Leiter, both 5.5 in that game. Leiter minus 128 on the over, Ashcraft minus 120 on the under. But Leiter, Ashcraft both have better K props than Max Fried for a good bit cheaper and lower ownership. So I'm good playing this game. I like playing pitchers in Texas too. Assume the roof is closed. Someone can let me know if it's not. But right in this game, I like a pitching duel here. I don't love Erod. Clay Holmes is one that it's like, man, it's hard for me on paper, I think, to get him as much at 8.9K when I like Leiter, Ashcraft more, and Ohtani. But he grades out well
for his K prop.
Let's see. 4.5 coin flip on both sides.
Yeah, I was wondering what the juice was.
Minus 112, minus 113, straight coin.
This dude just don't strike anybody out hardly. I mean,
yeah.
I just don't think he's got any upside, especially there against the Twins. So it's hard for me to even. I mean, I was thinking if it was 5, I would be jamming the under in the K prop. I mean, that would be pretty easy, I would think. But I don't know. I don't like Clay Holmes. I think he's a decent overall pitcher, but he's just not going to get you the strikeouts. He's just not there. And I don't think, for me, the Twins don't have enough strikeouts in that lineup. They only got 3 dudes over there that I would even consider to be over the average. So that's kind of hard for me to have play Holmes.
No, that's a good call. No, I like it. Our pitcher rankings like him, but it has for a little bit. And the Twins are only applied for 3.8 runs, which when you sort, one of the worst on the slate. He's going to be low owned. So like when you're jamming Ohtani or Coors bats or something, I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Fried's the tricky one. If you do have it projected like this and you think the ownership gap will be wider than 2%, I think it might even be wider than this. But this, I think, is more accurate than it initially was. I mean, you can easily talk yourself into it. Like he should have run support. Boston has one of the lower run totals. You look at his pitch count, 98, one of the best on the slate. And it's just a pure pivot off of Ohtani. I still really don't love it, though. I wouldn't be surprised if Mize or Ashcraft. And I can throw Matthew Boyd in there as well. Again, pretty good size. Favorites are the Cubs. Phillies aren't applied for as much. Matthew Boyd at home. I think all of them could actually be the high scoring pitcher on the slate when it's all said and done. So I do like Ohtani, going to eat some of that chalk. Fried, I'm indifferent to, will be in the pool and in chalkier teams as a pivot off of Ohtani. I don't mind Ohtani Fried teams when you're not stacking. Well, obviously you can't really stack Coors off of that, but I don't mind double spend pitcher on this slate. But I really want to live mainly in the Leiter, Ashcraft, Mize, and Boyd range. And then I don't like Ranger Suarez too much. Very tough matchup. Don't like Erod. And yeah, Clay Holmes. I'm in agreement with you. I don't think I'm going to get there too much. Now, below Matthew Boyd, 7.6K and below is when I definitely struggle. Obviously, we talked about Connor Prelip. If there's anything else you want to say about him, he's 4K. It's really what it gets you on this slate. Just know a lot of Prelip teams will be paired with Ohtani. I'm not sure how much I love Prelip, Leiter, Prelip, Ashcraft, Mize, all that, because I think you can just double up mid-tier instead of going star and scrub. But I don't necessarily know what I'm going to do with him quite yet. If you think he's 40%, I think it's probably the easiest fade out there. If you think it's more like the 20% in single entry, 15, 13 and MME stuff like SaberSim has, then I think it's a little easier to click. But a lot of teams will look similar. When they click him, they're going to go right to Coors Field and to spend up pitcher, which I don't necessarily love that idea. So yeah, 7.6K Chad Patrick all the way down. How do you see this bottom range?
It's just terrible. It's absolutely horrible. There ain't anybody I really like down there, to be truthful with you. I mean, Fuentes is a guy that is the cheaper one over on FanDuel, and he gets a Washington matchup. But this guy's been terrible. I mean, he's just been terrible in his major league career. I actually kind of like the Washington side. Little, you can't even consider playing Little. I'm not interested in playing Walker, but I did look a little bit in this Prelip guy. I mean, last year he was decent, 27% K rate. This year he's been at like a 35% K rate. So, I mean, so far in the minors in his so far in his couple starts. So, I mean, the dude's got some strikeout capability. I mean, shit, if he gets his 5Ks and goes through 4 innings, I mean, at 4K, I mean, that's he's going to be on the optimal because people are going to find, as you said, they're going to find the bats. But I think it's just easy. I would try to get a little bit different at the bats. We can talk about that as we go through the games. But, to me, I think you either just jam. To me, I would either go all in on that Coors Field game with the Padres, and because I think a lot of people are going to be like, oh, I'm going to fade it as well. So if I played it and was playing 3 to 5 lineups, I think I would just play all the lineups with like all Padres because I do like their matchup today. They got, Sagano sucks. So, I'm just sitting there thinking I'd either go all in on it or I'm not going to play it at all. I think today I'm just going to kind of not play it at all because I just really don't overly love it. But, so for me, just because the ownership it will end up having, I'll just be a little bit underweight. But there's some spots I think as we go through the games, like I said, that are definitely something that can compete with it on both, and we got several options. So that's where I think I'd rather live. I think in pitching, I'd just rather be, Ohtani and Prelip would be the guys I'd play. And then it's so easy to jam Ohtani in on FanDuel. It's like, why would you even mess around with Max Fried or really even go lower? If you need to really want to jam all the Coors guys, like I said, Fuentes, this guy's everybody's playing at 6,100, but I don't like that at all. So no thanks.
Yeah, I don't even think Fuentes, like you said, it's salary is pretty loose on FanDuel. I don't think Fuentes is going to get that much ownership. I think people are going to go more mid-tier. I don't think Prelip it will either much at 7-3. I think people are going to go Jack Leiter 8-6 or above. And obviously Ohtani's easy to get at 10-3, but I would not be surprised if, like I said, Boyd, Casey Mize, Fried, Leiter, if they outscore Ohtani in a vacuum. It's not the best strikeout matchup for Ohtani here on this slate. And we've seen the upside from some of those other guys. So I would be willing to not play Ohtani and get a little different at pitcher on FanDuel. And yeah, to wrap it up for DraftKings 7.6K and below, I think I might just X almost everyone out. Again, I'd rather play Clay Holmes than I would any of these other guys than Prelip. It's very easy to play Boyd 7-7. If I like Boyd and Mize 7-7, 7-9, I'm not starving for value down here, and I have a 4K guy that I can go to if I want. So I'm probably just going to start unchecking these dudes and go from there. I mean, I guess Fuentes, he's 6.8K and has somewhat of a projection. I still don't like it. I accidentally crossed off Prelip, and I would not do that. So we're about to switch over to the Stone and do that. But I would definitely leave Prelip in here, and my pitching pool would look something like this is how I'm seeing it. Rank your top 3 favorite pitchers, Gyiraszin, before we move on. DraftKings.
I mean, I would go Ohtani, Prelip, and then after that, I would go Casey Mize.
Okay. I like it. Want to say hi. Just saw a little Kobe Mayo home run. If you're on the O's, that'd be good for you. Davis Gaming, great to see you. Very nice of you. Definitely not the GOAT, though. JNV, very nice words as well. Ship it as the best content for MLB. Appreciate that. And then Peter, you don't get 4K pitchers with that much strikeout upside very often. Very true. He's only 3.5 juice on the over, but I mean, you rarely get 4K pitchers that are projected to go like 80 pitches, which you obviously take in this spot. So, NY, great to see you as well. All right, let's move over to the bats. Let me go like this quick. Actually, yeah, before we do so, I'll touch on a little marketing, a lot of stuff going on. No NFL, so people always think it's an off time, but NBA playoffs, which has been phenomenal. One of my favorite times of the year right now. We got you covered Monday through Monday on the slate plans, core reports, cash reports, showdown content from Little Neck. Saw a $10,000 winner in the chat yesterday. Cannot remember the name off the top of my head, but awesome stuff. Little Neck crushes it. NBA full force and prizes are great. PGA, of course, going on like it is every week. MLB, MMA this week like usual. NASCAR on Sundays and NHL playoffs, which have been a lot of fun as well. So 6 sports going on. If you do want to join us, bottom left, join the nation. You can get all of our sports, all of our content for those 6 sports for $19. 5 days access, $19. You get SaberSim like we just showed, and you get access to the Discord. Definitely the best deal around. If you're like, I just play MLB, I don't need all the other sports. If you go to single sport MLB, we do have options for that now as well. Less than $1 a day. You can get all of our content. If you want to add SaberSim, only $20 more per month. If you know you'll be with us the whole year, you'll get even a better deal right there. So shipitnation.com, plenty of different options. Get access to Discord and SaberSim too. Discord is one of the biggest pieces of our product. SaberSim, the best optimizer around. We would love to have you. All right, let me go.
Hey, I want to bring up something real quick because I see our guy Philly Phantom even saying, hey, I like Boyd. Just a word of caution. I mean, he missed a couple starts because of some arm strain. So he did throw in a rehab start like mid-60-some pitches, so you would assume he's okay. But I'm just saying there's a little bit more caution there just because of the injury he's seemed to be dealing with. So, I mean, if he gets in trouble, they're going to yank him out real quick of any kind of sign of some issues. So just kind of word to wise. It is a little bit riskier than a normal start.
Yep, good call there. All right, we will go to some bats and talk about the Milwaukee Brewers and the Detroit Tigers. Chad Patrick, Casey Mize on the mound. I believe it's going to be Hall as an opener for the Brewers. I know they've been doing that a little bit as of late. Let me just double check real quick. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Hall opening the southpaw, and then Chad Patrick coming in as the righty. Tigers, Brewers, any interest there? And then I want your thoughts on just openers in general. If you were a manager, how often do you think you would implement that?
You know, I think what teams are starting to realize what the openers are, and then they get you to throw out some lefties or righties, and then you burn up 2-3 guys off your bench. I mean, it just seems to be more of a game. I think it's just getting to a point where, you know, certain lefties aren't going to be pulled out of the lineup for a lefty pitcher or whatever else, because that just seems to be the mojo. I think it's more relevant in a playoff type atmosphere, a playoff game, than a regular season game, in my opinion. But I mean, hey, I mean, it's baseball, something different. I mean, different strategies. I don't mind it. I think it just depends too. Maybe a guy just doesn't feel comfortable in the first inning. I mean, there's certain guys that just suck in the first inning. Maybe it's just good for them to come out and get, you know, the game flowing and get everything, you know, working. It's just, there's nothing been proven on it, but I mean, as guys watch baseball and enjoyed baseball my whole life, like it's just something different, kind of like the shift. But I mean, as a Tiger fan, the Tigers did that shit all the time in the playoffs, you know? So, I mean, it seemed to work for them. I mean, that, you know, pitching chaos type thing, but yeah, I mean, it works. But for DFS, I mean, generally we know who the second guy coming in is, so that definitely helps.
Did you mention anything about Tigers in this spot or the Brewers?
Am I skipping around or something?
You are lagging a little, or I can hear you, but you're freezing and stuff, but I can hear you fine.
You're doing that to me too. I don't know.
Let us know in chat if it's me or Gyiraszin. Or if you can hear us both the same. When I went back on YouTube and checked live, you were frozen a little bit. You are on my screen sometimes. You're fine now. Maybe it's me though. I hope not. But any thoughts on the Tigers?
I'm hardwired in, so I don't know, but
it could be me. I'm hoping someone in chat let me know. What's up, Nades, James, Kenny? Is any thoughts on the Tigers, the Brewers though?
You know, I don't really like the Brewers here. The Brewers really don't have too much Ks either in their lineup with Mize, but I don't like the power that they'd have to bring here against Mize. I mean, Mize has struggled against the righty so far this year. He's actually been getting beat up a little bit, but I mean, I don't know. I just don't like the Brewers lineup at this point against Mize. The Tigers bullpen is pretty good. Sitting at a total 8. It is a really nice day here in Detroit. The hitting weather should be spectacular. But, I mean, the Tigers for me, I mean, McGonigal is a guy we might have to look at playing almost any time, especially if he's going to be cheap. This guy just doesn't strike out. He gets on base all the time, and he's a double hitting machine. I mean, he's really good, but I wouldn't say I got either of these stacks high up in my rankings today.
Both of our screens are freezing up. Wow, nice. I wonder if it's a StreamYard thing then.
It probably is. I mean, usually this doesn't happen.
I mean, at least not both of us. Like one person sometimes, but I don't know. Hopefully you can still hear us.
I mean,
that's really weird.
I can start dancing and we can, see how it works. Maybe we'll like freeze up and I'll look like I actually know what I'm doing.
All right, next game on the slate: Atlanta Braves and the Washington Nationals. Zach Little and Didier Fuentes on the mound. This is a game I definitely want to get behind in terms of bats. Both of you guys are frozen right now. Unbelievable. This is a game I want to get to on bats on both sides, though. For the Nats, Fuentes is a lot more attack. It's a small sample. You can definitely get to him on both sides, but he looks to be a lot worse against the left side of the plate. James Wood has been absolutely dialed this year. As you can see on the Nats, let me refresh because I know their order. Oh, man. I know it's out, but the projected order, hopefully it's similar because it's lefty, 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 switch, switch. 7 of the 9 in the projected order, and I do know it again. It is out. I hope it's like this. 7 of the 9 are hitting from the left side of the plate with the platoon advantage. And again, Fuentes does not look very good at all. Going to the other side, obviously you can always play the Braves, and now they get a pitcher that doesn't miss many bats. He also doesn't walk too many guys, but we want the balls in play for DFS. The top of the order looks phenomenal. I think both sides of this game have just as much upside as Coors Field, or at least when talking ownership. Like, yeah, the Braves top of the order is getting some. I'm fine mixing in the bottom half if you want to wrap it around. But with Coors getting so much ownership, when I do play the Braves, I mainly want to target at least most of the top half of the order. And yeah, guaranteed ninth inning at bats. Little does not miss any bats. I think both sides of this game have nuclear potential there. So give me both sides. What about you?
Yeah, man. I already saw when I was looking at all the slate today, I went right on there and bet the over runs in the first 5 innings because that seems like that's a pretty good bet. And I also threw Matt Olson to hit a home run today. I think Matt Olson's my favorite guy to hit a homer all day today. But I like both sides of it. I think the Braves are going to be a little more chalkier today. But, I mean, the lefties on the Braves are just, for me, they really stand out. Baldwin's been hitting the shit out of the ball. I really like Olson. You can even get as far as Michael Harris in the 6th hole. But Little, he doesn't miss bats, as you said, from either side of the plate. He's got pretty high fly ball range. I mean, he's just been getting absolutely just smashed. Isn't striking anybody out from the left side. So definitely like the Braves. Braves have been hitting overall so far this year. They're up there in the team stats with OPS and I think they're top 3. So, I mean, they're definitely in play. The national bullpen isn't all that good. And then when you come to the other side of it, and when you look at it here against Fuentes just wasn't any good. He wasn't any good before. I really like all the lefties on the Washington side. I mean, the Washington can steal some bags. They can hit homers. Woods is in play for me. CJ Abrams would be in play for me. I think those guys would be in play. I mean, and they also give you Garcia, so you get 2 infielders there. If you wanted to do that, you could throw in a cheap Lyle or House or somebody like that to make a cheaper stack if you wanted to maybe go heavier with some Dodgers or something like that. Maybe to get away from some Coors Field. I do like that. So, but yeah, this game here to me, I think this game and the Arizona game are the 2 games I think can keep up with this Coors game on both sides of the plate. And I think we got similar situations where you're going to have a little bit more chalkier team than what the so-called underdog would be. But I think Washington, I do like a little bit more than like the White Sox once we get that far. But Washington, to me, would be a great low-owned stack here, cheaper stack to throw in with some of these other teams that I think definitely have some upside. And, I mean, Fuentes just isn't any good. He's not missing any bats either. So, but, man, first 5, let's go on there. I already bet that. I mean, I think that's first 5 over. I think for me, that's a pretty fair bet. So, yeah, let's roll.
I hope it cashes because, yeah, I like both sides. Ownership's
drinks at the bowling alley.
There you go. Yeah, and like when you play the Nats, I wouldn't play pre-lip. It's really easy to get away there. You can go Max Fried and Ohtani if you want. 2 guys are expensive in Abrams and Wood. Obviously, great plays. I would probably have, if I am 5-stacking the Nats, probably at least one of those. Easy to get to, but again, Mize, Leiter, Boyd, plenty of cheaper options not named pre-lip in the mid-tier that you can go to. The Braves, if you want to go Ohtani pre-lip, eat chalk pitching, and the Braves is kind of your pivot off of Coors, I'm fine going there as well. But yeah, I like both sides. I think a lot of upside in this game for bats. Next game, Max Fried and Ranger Suarez on the hill, Yankees and the Red Sox. You can see Max Fried definitely looks good in our pitcher rankings. Ranger Suarez not as much. The problem with Suarez, it's not, I guess not necessarily a problem, but he's really tough against lefties. When you play him, you want to play the righties. Aaron Judge, Stanton look like two very strong plays. I like him more as one-offs or mini stacks though, because it's harder for me to get to some of these lefties with how hard Suarez or with how good Suarez is against the left side. As far as Fried, he's not getting enough ownership where the leverage makes sense for the Red Sox. I prefer much other cheaper spots. So Yankees, more minis, especially the righties, or pass kind of is how I see it. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to pick on Ranger Suarez and all his ground balls. He's just a really good pitcher overall. So, I mean, that's just tough. And the Red Sox are just in a rut come out to start the season. As a team, they're just not hitting very good. I don't really want to pick on Max Fried. He just doesn't get barreled up that often from either side of the plate. So, yeah, I think for me, it's a pretty easy game for me just to leave alone. And we'll play those teams other days.
Agree. Let's get to another game. The Twins and the Mets. Clay Holmes, Connor Prelip on the mound. And this is a spot where I am definitely interested in playing some Mets. By default, people are going to be playing Prelip on the Twins, literally just because of his price tag. He only has a 3.5K prop, expected to go 80 pitchers or whatever it may be. But yeah, I just direct leverage at very low ownership for the Mets versus a pitcher that's naturally going to get inflated ownership just because of his price and what it gets you. Also, some of these Mets, like a Juan Soto, Robert Lindor, they're expensive enough where they're kind of pivots off of the Coors Field stuff. So you can go the Mets and Coors Field pretty easily, like a Casey Mize, lighter Mets Coors. You can also eat Ohtani chalk and go Mets. But yeah, it's a one. Always love seeing my boy Tyrone Taylor, as people know, in the 9-hole. Semien at second, seven spot looks solid. Bo third, shortstop Lindor, Alvarez catcher. It fills out position eligibility pretty nice as well. So yeah, just game theory, baseball wise, I'm interested in the Mets. No, thank you to the Twins. What do you see?
Yeah, the Twins for me, I'll just pass on. But I mean, I do like interest in the Mets. I think I had more interest in like a one-off. I would start with Robert. I think he's a guy that I would be looking to play maybe as a one-off to get a little bit of leverage, especially on DK off of Prelip. I mean, he can definitely hit lefties, that's for sure. So I mean, for me, Prelip's gonna see pretty much all righties except for Soto. So I mean, he's got his work cut out for him in his first start. We'll see what happens. I mean, I don't mind the Mets play, as you said, and a typical just strategy type play, but the Mets just really haven't been hitting, as we know. I think they've lost like 11 games in a row since the mayor or some shit. Somebody said went to hug the mascot or some crap. Like they always say that here in Detroit, like Red Wings lost all the time about some political, like in Trump or Tigers, same shit. It's just like, whatever. Y'all come up with the silliest crap. Like, like, come on. I mean, there's no such thing as jinxes like that. Like, just stop it.
Mets, one-offs, otherwise nothing. Robert, your favorite?
Yeah, no, thanks. I think Robert, though, that'd be my favorite one. Robert would be my favorite. He'd be the guy I would want to play.
All right. Maybe a little more interest in the next game for you, the Cubs and the Phillies. Taijuan Walker and Matthew Boyd on the mound. Do they have an opener? Yeah, what? Kyle Backus. So it looks like they're going the southpaw as the opener to Taijuan Walker coming in after. Taijuan Walker is someone I definitely like to pick on. Sack ranking or the pitcher rankings show it. Cubs, no one priced above 5K besides PCA at the bottom of the order. One of the higher run totals on the slate. I can get behind some of these Cubs. When I'm seeing this ownership with almost a 5-run total and these prices, I'm totally fine getting to these Cubbies. And again, what I like, righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty in the projected order. So the opener, yeah, I mean, you're going to get one lefty out of the way, but I love how they have their staggered order. I think the Cubs are very interesting at ownership, allows you to eat chalk elsewhere. I'm team Matthew Boyd over the Phillies, though. But yeah, I mean, I guess a Trey Turner at short as a one-off. But yeah, that's it for me. What do you see?
Yeah, I'm not really interested too much in attacking Boyd. I think I would rather play some of the Cubs. I mean, yeah, they got this lefty starting out. They got some lefties in the bullpen. I don't know how long Taijuan Walker is actually going to go through the lineup. I mean, if he makes it more than twice through the lineup, even after coming in as the second guy here, I don't see him getting much. So I'm not going to be really too concerned about the lefty righty lefty thing here. But I mean, I like to Ian Happ at the top, Nico at the top, Suzuki at the top, Bush. I mean, we all like Bush. But so, you know, I mean, I don't mind the Cubbies. I just don't have them ranked up there as high today. But yeah, I mean, definitely could use them in like a little mini stack, Happ, Suzuki, and maybe Nico if you want to look like that, if you want to do that to be a little different.
Yeah, I'm going to play some Cubs. I think 5-man is in play and stuff, but mini stacks most definitely in play as well. What I like 1, 2, 3, 4, second base, first base, third base, outfield. You do have to pick one of the 2 catchers if you do want to include them in your stack. Shortstop and Dansby has some pop, can wrap it around with him. I like how the Cubs order fits in a lot of different ways, position eligibility and the pricing. Before we do go to the next game, appreciate everyone hanging out, watching live, or watching on playback. All we ask is the like button and subscribe button. It helps us out a ton. Subscribe. You'll get notified every time we go live, bringing you shows on this channel every weekday and sometimes even more. What's so funny, Gyiraszin?
I was just thinking I could down this whole thing and just blame it on the screen being frozen.
There you go. There you go. All right, next game on the slate, Texas Rangers and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Braxton Ashcraft, Jack Leiter on the mound. I am in on both of these pitchers, which means not as much interest for DFS. But, man, it was O'Neal Cruz absolutely robbed. I believe Evan Carter got it yesterday. Yeah. That was a great catch. But I'm on team pitchers over team bats in this one. What about you?
I mean, O'Neal Cruz is one of them guys, Tyler. Like, if he was in a bigger city or, you know, had a – just, you know, like in the Dodgers, somebody, they'd be talking about him like, you know, Ellie Cruz type, you know, guy. Like this guy's like spectacular, but
he just can't play center field. I mean, the dude can't judge a fly ball. It's crazy.
I mean, I don't understand why he didn't have a short. Dude's got a rocket of an arm. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's either way, the boy can hit though. That's for sure. But yeah, I don't really like either spots here in this game. I mean, it's just, there's too many other good spots for us to even fool with that one.
Agree. We'll move to the game of the night in terms of ownership and total. San Diego Padres and the Colorado Rockies. Walker Buehler, Tomaki Sagano on the mound. Are you you called it yesterday? Where's our man Nate? Shout out to Nate. We nailed it yesterday. Dollander 0.6%. I don't know if you're going to play a pitcher on either side. That would be just as crazy as yesterday. So if you get it, I'll be all ears. But more importantly, if you don't play the pitchers, which I don't recommend, not playing like the Padres offense or the Rockies offense, if it is another 2-0 game, 1-0 game, and these guys aren't on the winner, that's a lot of ownership, as you can see, going down. So would you take an underweight approach on either side looking at current ownership right now?
Like I said, I think I would just totally fade it or totally jam it at this point, because I think it's not getting enough ownership as it would if we would have had a 8-7 game last night instead of 1-0. This would be major chalk game, and Mr. Prelip would even probably be higher ownership in my opinion. But we see it a lot with Coors. You know, they come in the first game, they throw up a dud, and then the second game it's like a damn softball game. We've like brought that up a few times over the years. I know we've talked about that. So, you know, like so for me. I mean, I think it's a really good spot. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's all lined up there for the Padres. I just I've made the opinion that I don't trust the Padres enough to put all my eggs in that basket to make that play. So if I want to make that play, I feel like I got to go all in to get over everybody else and play like all 3 or 5 of my lineups and have jam with Padres and maybe mix in some different guys with, you know, probably just roll it with Ohtani, maybe throw in one or two different pitchers, but you know, on FanDuel that being. So for me, Title, I think the Padres are in a great spot. I don't really like the Rockies at all, to be truthful. I just Buehler, I don't know. I guess I respect him enough. I don't really want to pay the prices for him. I think there's other spots that I like way more. I think they're going to be a little bit more chalkier than they should be. And I don't really even like to attack this Padre bullpen, which is really good either. So, that for me is good enough reason for me just to leave I don't really like the Rockies for where I'm looking at what their ownership is, but the Padres I do like. I think you're getting a little bit of a discount on if you go overweight. I think that's where I think the play would be for me. Like for me, just to play one or two lineups, I feel like I'm not doing myself any justice because if it does go off, like I should have had all 5 lineups, Padre. You know what I mean? Like, so for me, I just think in my opinion, you should just either go for all Padres and mix in some whatever else you want, or just totally leave it alone. I mean, the lefties have pretty good matchups here today. So, I mean, it's a tough call, really. I mean, that's the call of the slate for everybody here tonight, for sure.
I like both sides. Let me say this. I like both sides because I can get different at pitching. I like multiple different pitchers, not name the 2 chalky and Ohtani and Prelip. I can mix and match. Again, Mize, Boyd. Even like if I'm playing the Padres, that's where I'd be fine playing Clay Holmes as a pivot off of like not only Ohtani, but also Fried and then Matthew Boyd and Clay Holmes or whatever it is. I don't like the idea of going Prelip with, I guess, even just Prelip and then you name it, and then you're stacking this game. Like that's going to be very chalky. Ohtani and Mize, you can fit enough Padres where that kind of concerns me as well. So more than likely would be a max 1 Ohtani, especially in a hand build. Ohtani Prelip when I'm 5-man in the Padres, but I'd be very willing to play neither of those 2 chalk pitchers because I think there's enough other pitchers that have upside to outscore them. And then when you just see this amount of ownership for bats in baseball, it's concerning. But when they have 1.5 run total higher than the next, where I do disagree with you in is like I like making a lot of lineups or like 20 lineups or 25. In my opinion, I think when you do that, you should make a portfolio. Some of your portfolios saying the Padres smash and they fully get there. Some of the portfolios saying that they bust, and then you have fades to go about that. And shout out to Saberson, their portfolio diversifier plays a big role in MLB because it takes into consideration all your lineups, and some of them will have, I don't know, probably not today. This might be a little overboard, but like chalk pitcher Ohtani for 20 lineups, and then 3 lineups will have the Giants 5-man stack because you're leveraging out your portfolio and balancing it out. So I do like this game. But it also, if you're trying to make a case to fade the Padres, I've mentioned a lot of other teams I like on this slate. The Cubs, the Mets for leverage, the Nats, the Braves, and I thought the Tigers were a little interesting, but mainly the 4 so far. And we're going to get to the Dodgers later. If that's the case, and I can already find enough other teams that I like, then it's easier to talk yourself into fading the chalkiest team by a good bit. So I don't have a strong lean. Again, when I play baseball, I'm playing 20 teams. I want at least probably with the field on the Padres. I think they're in a phenomenal spot. And I like the Rockies too. Buehler and Sagano don't miss bats. Balls will be in play. Good hitting weather. A total unlike any other. You look at the hitter rankings. Really good on this Padres side. Pretty good on the Rockies side. If this is the ownership for the Rockies, it feels a little expensive or a little high in terms of ownership, but I don't necessarily know if I agree with this projected ownership here. Like, I don't know if Moniak's going to be 22% in flagship stuff. Maybe because he's second, 3,900, but I'm going to eat chalk with the Padres. I can get different at pitching and mini stacks with it. When I'm playing the Rockies, I think you can eat a little more chalk. I do want a good amount of this game though, but I would not go the all in or completely fade personally, but that's me making 20 teams or more. If you're making 3 teams, maybe you can talk yourself into that a little bit. All right, 2 games left on the slate. Arizona Diamondbacks and the Chicago White Sox. Anthony K. Eduardo Rodriguez on the mound. I'll let you take it away. You've mentioned the D-backs throughout the show, so do you like them as a stack?
Yeah, I think the D-backs are right up there at the top of the stacks for me. I mean, I definitely think the D-backs are in play against Michael K. I mean, this guy here he's not been Anthony K. I should say Michael K. It don't even matter. Guy won't be around long. But, I mean, he's just not been very good. He's been I mean, he's got like a 14% walk rate so far here to the right side. The dude hasn't been missing any bats. He's not striking hardly anybody out. I mean, his hard hit rate is really high. He's getting barreled up. I mean, I think it's a great spot here. I mean, we saw some runs last night. The White Sox were the team you had to have last night. I think the White Sox are in a similar spot here again today too, against Erod, who we know has been around a long time, and the White Sox got some righties that could definitely get to them. But going back here to the D-backs, I mean, I prefer the D-backs bats. Marte, I think Perdermo's in a good spot. Gurriel's in a good spot. We've known Arnendo's always been good against lefties in his career. So, I think the D-backs are up there for me. I mean, I think I actually got 3 teams higher than the Padres today. That's why I kind of felt, a little even comfortable to fade them all. I think the Dodgers are better. I think the Braves are better. And I think the D-backs are better. I think all 3 for me, I have ranked higher than the Padres here today. So in the rank them in order, it'd be Dodgers, Braves, D-backs, and then Padres. So, yeah, I mean, D-backs are definitely play. I think they could definitely get the job done here today. I like it. I actually like both sides of the game, and I wouldn't mind a game stack here. I mean, we've seen the White Sox, even in recent times, they get on a little roll. They start scoring a bunch of runs. I can specifically remember last year the White Sox went on a run, and I remember people winning all kinds of cheese off the White Sox there for a couple weeks there. So, I mean, don't discount the White Sox. Those names look like names, you haven't seen before, like a AAA team, but they've been putting up some numbers, and I think the righties are definitely in play, Title.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. This freaking Murakami dude is out of the world. 4 straight games with a home run, only 4,700. I don't hate it. I think both sides, are in play. D-backs look very strong, though. Don't mind the White Sox. They're very cheap. If you want to go Frito Tani, you can 5-man the White Sox pretty easily. Guaranteed good 9th inning at bats. Roof was open yesterday, and let me check quick. I don't think it might be open again tonight. Yeah, I'm expecting it probably to be open again tonight. Not too hot right now in Arizona, so both sides in play. Last game of the slate. Again, appreciate everyone hanging out. Like button, subscribe button helps us out a ton. The chalkiest pitcher, or one of them, in Shohei Ohtani, probably the chalkiest, taking on Tyler Mahle on the Giants. If this ownership is true for the Dodgers, and I don't necessarily believe it is, but because they are expensive, but when you have a 4K pitcher and enough cheap bats on the slate to fill around it, I think when people aren't going to go to, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But the Dodgers, the 2nd or 3rd highest run total on the slate, guaranteed 9th inning at bats. Mahle doesn't miss too many bats. It feels like a very easy pivot off of chalky Padres because the pricing is really similar for this one. So I think the Dodgers are very good, guaranteed 9th inning at bats. If this ownership stays true, they would be my favorite stack on the slate without a doubt. Now, I'm not sure this ownership is going to stay true, so my opinion could change a little bit. But if we're getting single-digit owned Dodgers against Mahle, who doesn't miss bats, with guaranteed 9th inning at bats, I am totally in on these Dodgers. Giants, there's better slates to get all the direct leverage, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I don't like here is the park, obviously, out in San Francisco. But, I mean, the Dodgers are just a different kind of team. I mean, these guys have power up and down. It does suck, and I'll complain again that they can't figure out a way to put Shohei as a fucking hitter in either site. Like, come on, man. That should be a little bit easier than they seem to make it out to be. But Mahle, you mentioned, the dude sucks, and he walks a lot of guys. He's like 15% walk rate so far this year, the right side, 12% the left side. His WOBA is like 516 to the right side. Like, what is this, softball? Like, I could get him. I mean, come on, man. It's like he's rolling balls up there, the red playground ball we used to get. He's rolling that shit up there, and these guys are smashing the shit out of it. Like, come on, man. This is the Dodgers you're about to face. So I'm worried for Mr. Mahle. He's going to get his ass fucking ripped here tonight. So I think for me, I mean, I'm looking at all the Dodgers. They're my favorite stack. Like I said, I'd probably put the Braves right behind them. I got Arizona, and then I'd probably have the Nats. There's all kinds of decent spots here for bats tonight. So that's why I wasn't really worried about getting too chalky with pitching at the beginning. I think there's a lot of other spots you can build your lineups around. But I think the Braves are in a really good spot. I think the lefties, they've been hitting. I like to play teams that are at the top. I'm going to play the Braves, and I'm going to probably play some Dodgers title. And I'll tell you what, you look at it and go look at the top teams of the team stats, OPS so far this year. They're way far ahead of everybody else. I'll be more than happy to line up on that because most days I'm going to be in a better, in a winning position than not. So I'm just going to build up my team, figure out where I need to be as far as my pitching goes because we do have some decent options. We don't have Prelip isn't, 4K on FanDuel. He's like 6,800 or 70-some hundred. So he's not like the cheap guy over there. Fuentes actually is the guy everybody's going down to on FanDuel to be able to jam in all those expensive bats. And I'm not interested in doing that. But, I think it's interesting slate. It's going to be a fun one to watch. I mean, getting into baseball season, I love it. I mean, it's finally a nice day. I mean, it's just summer's coming. Got some lucky ones title, having a good time. It was 420 the other day. The cookie jar is loaded up with all kinds of half-off stuff that I ended up getting at my favorite dispensary here in recent times. So, hey, I'm ready to watch some baseball and, have some fun.
And bowl 300 today. Good luck to you in the bowling.
First half champ, second half chance. We're bowling for the league title here. I got to be there in about 15 minutes. But I might. You never know. I've been on a roll.
There we go. We'll get on out of here so Gyiraszin can get over to bowling. Appreciate everyone hanging out. If you do, again, want to join us, shippingnation.com. Let me pull it up real quick. Shippingnation.com. This is the homepage. Bottom left, join the nation is how you get in. If you want access to NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, PGA, MLB, MMA, and NASCAR content, this 5 days for $19 will take you all the way through the weekend to get access to all those sports with SaberSim and Discord. You absolutely cannot beat that deal. So if you haven't gave us a try and you like playing multiple sports, I do not think you can beat that deal. If you just play MLB, single sport to the right, MLB, less than $1 a day you can get in for the month for our content. $20 more gets you access to SaberSim monthly. Again, SaberSim doesn't even have a single sport monthly option. So by far the best deal if you're just playing MLB. You get the Slate plan, the Stone, also stack rankings, hitter rankings, pitcher rankings, for both sites, projections, ownership as well. Gyiraszin, always good talking with you. You go out there and have some fun tonight. Bowl well. Hopefully some Shipping Nation logos are at the top of the leaderboard. That will do it for us. For Gyiraszin, I'm Title Town. Be safe. Good luck. Peace.